the whole adage of brushing your teeth after you eat is actually really founded in science.
Welcome to Women's Health and Longevity by Seneca Women, presented in partnership with P&G and Walgreens. We're living in an age of scientific breakthroughs. Technology, AI, and medical advancements are ushering in a whole new era of health and longevity. But what does that really mean for women's health? We're here to talk to experts about women's health from every angle, and we're here to demystify the science of health and suggest easy, practical things we can all do that may help us live healthier, happier, and longer.
Today we're talking about your smile and how to make it healthier. We're talking to Dr. Karen Koffler.
Let's talk about oral health. I understand there are millions of microbes that live in our mouths. First of all, what is a microbe and what do they do?
So when we talk about microbes, we're talking about bacteria. And the mouth is the first stage of the gut. And like the rest of the gut, there are bacteria living within our mouths. And generally speaking, they don't cause any problem. It's when there's an overgrowth, when we're not clearing them, that bacteria can begin to cause problems with our oral health.
And is bacteria or microbes related to plaque?
Exactly. So it's an overgrowth of matter created in part by bacteria, feeding on food particles that remain behind and create that sort of fuzzy feeling in our mouths.
So what is the role of plaque and why is it a problem?
So plaque left alone begins to become tartar, and that creates a disruption in the connection between our gums and our teeth, and it allows for potential for infection deeper down along the tooth, and that of course leads to inflammation and tooth loosening, gum loss, etc.
So it seems like keeping plaque under control is really important.
And not difficult to do. Regular brushing and regular flossing, particularly after meals, and in particular after your last meal. So we're always going to have some degree of plaque. It's whether or not you clear it and prevent it from becoming tartar that makes the difference.
So there's been a lot of talk lately about how, or at least an increased recognition, that oral health is in fact related and can have a pretty significant impact on other areas of your health. What's going on there?
Chronic low-grade infections within the gum along the tooth line is periodontal disease, and that is a source of inflammation. And that can contribute to all kinds of issues we now know, including cardiovascular disease and dementia.
Wow.
So it's like any other low-grade chronic infection anywhere else, except for this is something that we really can avoid.
So this is super motivating to brush your teeth and floss your teeth. Probably most people don't realize that your oral health could even impact cardiovascular health, brain health. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable.
It is. It has a very big impact on our overall well-being.
So in terms of women's health, how does women's oral health differ from men's health, and does it change over a woman's life stages?
Yeah, the health of the gums really are influenced by hormonal levels. So many women will notice sort of their gums feel more swollen during certain parts of their cycle, when they're pregnant. And then when we go through menopause, actually with the reduction of estrogen, we often notice some degree of gum recession. We're also apt to lose some bone, and that includes bone within the jaw. And so women may be at increased risk of dental loss or tooth loss.
So is there anything you recommend for women who are perimenopause, postmenopause? Is there something different we should be doing?
I think oral care becomes even more important around perimenopause or through menopause. And actually, I encourage women to go more frequently to their dentist to make sure they have a very solid dental cleaning, because they are more predisposed to plaque and tartar development.
And what other ways does menopause affect a woman's oral health?
So in particular, during menopause, women will have a decreased amount of saliva that they produce, and that leads to dry mouth. And dry mouth can actually lead to greater tooth decay, gum loss, and loss of tooth.
So what are some simple, practical things that women can do to make sure they're keeping their mouths healthy?
The whole adage of brushing your teeth after you eat is actually really founded in science. And so brushing and flossing in particular, it's the flossing that really helps you eliminate the tendency to build up plaque, and most importantly to do it after the last meal of the day, because if you're overnight without having scraped the tooth, you're more at risk for developing plaque and therefore tartar.
This is something certainly we can all do. We just have to get motivated, but I think really understanding this connection between your oral health and other areas of your health certainly is motivating me, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here are my top takeaways. First, there's an important connection between oral health and overall health. Second, women's hormones play a role in oral health, particularly during perimenopause and menopause. Lastly, brushing and flossing are key, especially after the last meal of the day. Learn more about how to get a healthy smile from our partners at Oral-B.com and Crest.com. This episode of Women's Health and Longevity is brought to you by P&G and Walgreens, helping women find the right solutions for their changing needs. For more information, visit walgreens.com/women's-wellness.